Hip-hop's in chaos right now, and the storm is only getting bigger. Behind the music, behind the flashy shows and platinum plaques, there's a war going down, a war over truth, freedom, and who really controls the culture. It's not just about bars anymore, it's about power. Lil Wayne, Kendrick Lamar, Pusha T, Jay-Z, and Drake are caught in the middle of something way larger than rap beef. The industry's dirty secrets are spilling out, and the whole game is starting to shift right in front of our eyes. Think about it. Wayne, a living legend, is calling out Kendrick like his trophies don't mean a thing. He says Kendrick's nothing more than an industry plant, overhyped and overprotected. On the other side, you got Pusha T exposing the fact that his own album was locked away, buried by the label just to protect Drake. That ain't rumor, that's reality, and it shows exactly how deep the machine goes. And now, Jay-Z himself is stepping in, putting his weight behind Kendrick and Pusha, pushing back against the same corporations that built his empire. That's wild. What started as whispers has exploded into one of the most important battles in hip-hop history. Legends are standing up, labels are panicking, and fans are waking up to just how controlled the game really is.
First of all, I want to say forgive me for the delay. Just the delay. I want to say I had to get strength. I had to get strength enough to do this without breaking. I want to say thank you to every voice, every opinion, all the care, all the love, and the support out there. That hurt a lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown, for just automatically mentally putting myself in that position like somebody told me that was my position. So I blame myself for that, so it hurt.
This isn't just music anymore, it's a fight for the soul of the culture. So buckle in, because this story, it's about to get explosive. What's really going down in hip-hop right now is nothing short of a storm. The culture is buzzing after Lil Wayne and Kendrick Lamar got tangled up in a messy back and forth, and the fallout is shaking the whole industry. It all started with whispers, but now it's front page talk, and everybody's tuned in because this isn't just rap beef. This is a fight about power, respect, and who controls the future of hip-hop. Lil Wayne, one of the biggest legends in the game, didn't take it lightly when Kendrick made a sly comment telling folks to bump Carter through while flashing his chain. That wasn't just a playful jab, it was a direct shot, and Wayne felt it deep. He even admitted, "I held my Raleigh chain, proud irony. I think my heart worked that Wayne down." You could hear the sting in his voice, but when Wayne tried to reach out to Kendrick, the response wasn't there. Kendrick made it crystal clear. He wasn't picking up the phone, saying straight up, "Nobody can tell me I don't want to talk on no cellies." That was cold, so Wayne did what he does best. He hit the booth, and now the streets are waiting to see just how hard he claps back. But the drama doesn't end with just Wayne and Kendrick. Things exploded after Pusha T dropped a bombshell that shook fans to their core. He exposed how Universal Music Group and Def Jam shelved his whole project just because it had a Kendrick feature. Why? Because Kendrick had fired shots at Drake and the label wasn't having it. According to Pusha, the project was shut down before it even had a chance to drop just to protect Drake's image. That's wild. This ain't just behind the scenes business. This is one of the biggest music corporations in the world stepping in and silencing voices. Imagine being a fan waiting on an album and then finding out it got locked away in the vault just to protect one superstar. That's not just favoritism, that's control. And it raises a heavy question. Who's really running the show in hip-hop today? The artists or the machine that sits behind them? And Wayne wasn't quiet either. He lit into Kendrick saying he could rack up 1,000 trophies and still wouldn't be in the GOAT conversation. In Wayne's words, Kendrick's a decent rapper, but what's he even done this year? Nothing. That hit hard because it cut into Kendrick's consistency. Wayne even went deeper, claiming Kendrick was handed an award for a diss track with no real message, calling it hollow and fake. He didn't just stop there, he flat out labeled Kendrick an industry plant, saying better tracks got overlooked while Kendrick was being pushed. To prove his point, Wayne brought up the legendary diss track Ether, which never needed an award to show its impact. In Wayne's eyes, Kendrick could stack up 1,000 trophies and still not crack the top 30 of all time. Then came the jab at sales. Wayne laughed at Kendrick's numbers, saying you can't trick fans into buying garbage. To Wayne, Kendrick's just overhyped, sitting on shelves with 40 Grammys and 70 BET awards, none of which mean a thing if the streets aren't rocking with your music. That's as raw as it gets. But this is bigger than a couple of shots fired. What's happening now looks like a full-blown war on creative freedom. We're seeing legends being blocked, filtered, and silenced just to protect the money machine. Pusha T isn't backing down though. He's fighting to release that shelved project on his own terms, standing shoulder to shoulder with Kendrick. And here's where things really heat up. Jay-Z has entered the picture. Jay is no stranger to industry politics, but this time he's siding with Pusha and Kendrick, not the labels. That alone flips the whole narrative. When a mogul like Jay-Z throws his weight behind a movement, you know it's more than music. It's about shifting the balance of power. The streets are watching this unfold in real time, and it feels like the start of a new era where artists are no longer willing to bow down to corporate gatekeepers. This is about more than bars and trophies. This is about the very soul of hip-hop. Pusha T, Kendrick, and Jay-Z are standing together against the system, making it clear that labels don't get to decide who shines and who gets buried. They're calling out how corporations have been manipulating the culture, pushing some voices while muting others, all to protect their cash cow, Drake. And while Drake sits at the center of this storm, looking like the untouchable superstar, the foundation under him is starting to crack. The question is, can the machine hold up when some of the game's heaviest hitters are openly rebelling against it? The tension is thick, and every move feels like it's about to spark something bigger. Wayne's words weren't just casual shade, they were designed to sting, to remind everyone that status in hip-hop isn't earned by trophies, but by impact, consistency, and how the streets respond. That's why his ether comparison hit different. He was saying the culture, not the awards, decides what matters. And at the same time, Pusha T's revelation about being silenced for standing next to Kendrick exposed a truth fans always suspected, that labels pull strings way beyond what we see. They're not just managers of music, they're gatekeepers of what narratives can exist. That's why this feels historic, because the pushback is louder than ever. Kendrick's refusal to answer Wayne, Pusha's determination to go independent, and Jay-Z's quiet but powerful support, all of it together is setting the stage for a showdown way bigger than any diss track. The industry walls are shaking, and fans are realizing they've been kept in the dark for years. Now let's talk about why this whole situation is shaking the culture to its core. This ain't just Wayne and Kendrick exchanging subliminals. This is about who really owns hip-hop's voice. When Pusha T revealed that his album got shelved by Universal and Def Jam just because Kendrick was featured, the industry mask slipped right off. Think about it. This wasn't about weak sales projections. It wasn't about bad timing. It was straight up about protecting Drake. That's crazy. An entire project full of blood, sweat, and artistry tossed aside like it never mattered, all because it had a verse that poked at the label's golden boy. That shows you how far these corporations are willing to go to keep their chosen star untouchable. And in this case, Drake's image mattered more than the culture. That's when the whispers turned into explosions, because fans realized the labels aren't just in the business of dropping music. They're in the business of controlling what stories even get told. Kendrick isn't new to calling out systems. Remember, his whole career has been about shaking foundations, making people uncomfortable with the truth. That's why this battle feels so real, because Kendrick's presence on Pusha T's album was enough to scare execs into pulling the plug. And then comes Wayne, blasting Kendrick by saying he's overrated, his trophies don't matter, and that the streets ain't rocking with him like the media says. In Wayne's eyes, Kendrick's rise is more about being hand-picked than being truly earned. He even called him an industry plant. That's a heavy insult in the culture, because it suggests Kendrick's whole career is the product of label strategies, not organic love from the people. Wayne went further, clowning his sales numbers and saying fans can't be fooled into buying music that doesn't connect. That's raw criticism, but it also reveals the bigger divide. Some artists believe Kendrick represents the label's push, while others see him as the last hope for authenticity in a game that's drowning in politics. And here's where Jay-Z stepping into the ring makes it even wilder. Jay could have stayed quiet, played it safe, and let the labels continue running their game, but instead he aligned himself with Pusha and Kendrick. That's a major move, because Jay-Z's not just another rapper. He's a mogul, a businessman, and someone with enough weight to challenge corporate giants head on. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's backing the very project Universal tried to bury, pushing to get Pusha's shelved track with Kendrick released independently. That means Jay isn't just speaking about freedom, he's putting his money and influence on the line to make sure voices aren't silenced. That's a huge message, not just to fans, but to the whole industry. The machine doesn't get to call all the shots anymore. And when Jay-Z co-signs that kind of rebellion, you know something's shifting. What's crazy is how the rumors started spinning after this. Some say Drake himself was involved in making sure Kendrick's verse got blocked. Others believe the whole shelving of Push's project was a calculated move to shield Drake from lyrical damage. There's even talk that Kendrick's Super Bowl spotlight wasn't just a performance. It was a warning sign, a signal that a power shift was already underway, and the labels knew it. This is chess, not checkers, and everybody's starting to see how deep the moves really go. On one side, you have Drake, backed by the biggest label machine in the game, with execs willing to silence anyone who threatens his throne. On the other side, you've got Kendrick, Pusha, and Jay standing for independence, truth, and real artistry. That clash right there, that's not just rap beef, that's cultural warfare. The fans are caught in the middle, watching history unfold. For years, people whispered that the industry was rigged, that labels decided who blew up and who got buried. But now, with Pusha pulling back the curtain, the truth is out in the open. This ain't speculation, it's fact. Universal really did shelve an entire album just to protect one artist. That's bigger than any diss track. That's proof of corporate control. And the response from Wayne calling Kendrick fake shows just how divided the culture is. Some legends are standing with the machine while others are fighting to tear it down. That's what makes this moment so unpredictable. The old rules don't apply anymore. If Jay-Z can push a project the label tried to silence, it proves artists have more power than they think. And if Kendrick keeps standing tall, refusing to fold, it shows fans that authenticity can still break through the noise. The stakes couldn't be higher because this battle is deciding what hip-hop will look like for the next decade, manufactured and polished by labels or raw and unfiltered from the artists themselves. Now here's where the story hits another level. This ain't just about disses or trophies anymore. This is a full-on cultural standoff. The power players have revealed themselves and the stakes are higher than ever. On one side, you got Drake and the labels moving like a fortress, pulling strings to protect their crown jewel. On the other side, you got Kendrick, Pusha T, and Jay-Z throwing down the gauntlet, making it clear they're not bending to industry politics. That clash is bigger than any single beef. It's about rewriting the blueprint of hip-hop. For decades, labels decided which collabs made it to shelves, which verses got cleared, and which artists got spotlighted. But now, with Kendrick's verse being blocked and the Clips project shelved, the system got exposed for what it is, a machine built to protect its investments, not the culture. And the backlash is erupting. Look at how Jay-Z is moving, quiet, strategic, but powerful. While Drake's team is stirring chaos and spinning narratives, Jay's taking a stand with action. He's backing the very project Universal tried to bury, making sure the world hears the verse they wanted silenced. And let's be real, Jay isn't doing this for headlines. He's not chasing clout. He's standing on principle. Hip-hop has always been about raw, unfiltered truth. And Jay knows that once labels start deciding what voices get heard, the whole spirit of the genre is in danger. That's why his involvement feels legendary. This isn't just Jay-Z the mogul. This is Jay-Z the protector of the culture, the one fighting to make sure hip-hop doesn't lose its soul. And when you've got someone of his status stepping in, the message is clear. The streets, not the boardroom, decide what matters. And while Wayne keeps firing shots at Kendrick, saying he's overhyped, an industry plant, and not worthy of GOAT conversations, it almost feels like a distraction compared to the bigger war happening behind the scenes. Because let's be honest, this isn't really about Wayne versus Kendrick. This is about the music machine versus the artists who refuse to play along. That's why fans are watching every move so closely. Every verse, every leak, every rumor feels like another puzzle piece in a story that's way bigger than a rap battle. And right now, Kendrick isn't just battling Wayne's words, he's battling an entire system designed to silence him. But here's the twist. This movement is spreading fast. More artists are starting to see what's happening and realize they've been under the same control without even noticing it. If Jay-Z, Kendrick, and Pusha T can stand up against Universal, it opens the door for others to do the same. Imagine what happens if more rappers decide they won't let labels bury their projects or block their verses. Imagine if artists start dropping music independently just to keep their voices pure. That's when things get dangerous for the corporations, because the one thing they can't stop is unity. And right now, unity is exactly what's forming. The energy feels like history in the making, just like when classic beefs redefined eras. Nas versus Jay, Pac versus Biggie. This moment is carving out a new chapter. But instead of two rappers fighting for the crown, this is about artists fighting for freedom. It's about tearing down walls that have boxed creativity in for years. If this movement lands the way fans expect, it could flip the whole game. Labels won't just lose control of one project, they could lose control of the culture itself. And that's why this fight matters so much. Every shot Wayne takes, every rumor about Drake's involvement, every independent move Pusha and Kendrick make, it's all leading to one big question. Who's really in charge of hip-hop's future? And let's not forget the fans, the heartbeat of the culture. They're not just watching, they're choosing sides. Some are riding with Drake, saying he's earned his spot at the top. Others are standing with Kendrick, saying he represents truth, artistry, and the fight against corporate filters. And then there are those who see Jay-Z's moves as the ultimate game changer, proof that legends are ready to protect the art form from being watered down. No matter which side people are on, one thing's undeniable. The game will never be the same after this. What started as whispers is now a full-blown storm, and the thunder is only getting louder.